Thank you, Craig, for presenting this petition and calling on Canterbury City Council to respond to the dispute between Caneco and the GMB union. I'm grateful to Lord Mayor for offering me the chance to make a comment tonight. Thank you for that, Lord Mayor. Let's be honest, an industrial dispute involving a quarter of the Caneco staff is not the backdrop for any new council's administration that we wanted. Nor do we want to inherit a struggling Canterbury City Council brought to its knees by a continuous Conservative administration since 2005 and hollowed out further by 13 years of political choices of austerity. If that were not enough, it is engulfed by huge interest payments of more than £180 million of debt accrued by previous administrations buying into dreams. Austerity under the Tories has created staff and service reductions that eat into all our lives directly and through this council's work. As a new and ambitious administration, it's a bitter pill to accept the lost opportunities to invest in its services and its residents. When we opened the coffers as our administration, there was nothing there for anything other than the bare bones of basic services. We are an ambitious but also a pragmatic administration, but we have the courage to take on the challenge to rebuild our district to a place of hope and opportunity. It is what our residents expect of us after May and trust us to deliver. It will be one heck of a journey that we hope all 157,000 residents, including all the people in here tonight, will take with us. But to return to the petition that Craig put out tonight. And you submitted that with passion tonight, Craig, on behalf of your colleagues and your families, and we understand that. And also we understand that one of our letters was overly harsh in some of the things that we said. We apologise for that. But to be honest, that's all I can do. But we do mean it. We know that the cuts that we talked about are the ones that hit everybody, you, just as much as your friends and colleagues as well. And we apologise for that to you tonight, sincerely. But what I say to you now is still true, and it still sits right. Council finances are strange, slightly weird, and slightly complex, and I think every single new councillor here in this administration will concur with that. But in essence, the council must, by law, fund its waste collection from, pretty much, its council tax. It can also use some money that it collects from services like green waste collection, bulky items, and those sort of things as well. What it can't do is borrow money or sell things it owns, like property for example, to fund a wage increase in the middle of the financial year. To make it worse, those debts that I talked about earlier have to be paid from that very same pot of money we're talking about. So, Caneco has allocated a budget for 22-23 at the beginning of the financial year. That actually reflected the likely pay rise we thought at that time, with a little contingency as well. The council tax cake, as you call it maybe, was served up and proportioned accordingly with that size slice to Caneco. The offer that's been accepted by the recognised union at Caneco, Unison, was hard won, but it can be paid with that allocation from its budget without the need for any more cuts to services in any way. As you know, there was already been put in place, and those people will be accepting the pay rise in July pay. However, to fund the 300,000 needed to increase all the Caneco salaries across all the grades equitably and retaining pay parity to match the GMB members' unresolved demands is not affordable. Not affordable because that would mean cutting services and charging more for some services as well. Outside, we talked briefly about that to some of the drivers and loaders here, and I explained that. It is a slightly strange scenario, but we believe that without a restructuring of the company, there is no choice but to be equitable in our pay settlement to everybody. That's the stark reality that we find ourselves in after the reckless speculations of Conservative administration locally. And the cuts piled on endless restrictions made to local authorities through central government over many years. But to the point you make regarding other authorities locally meeting the demand of £15 for a driver and £12 for a loader, it's important we face that as well. Waste collection in Ashford and Swale are run by Biffa, Folkestone and Dover by Veolia. The terms and conditions of employment will probably be different from yours, and of course money to cover the pay increase for those can be met from the deep pockets of a large private company that's not hidebound by local government limitations, the quirky sort I described earlier. Nor are we comparable to the big unitary authorities such as Brighton and Hove. We are different. We cannot meet these same rates of pay. Canterbury is a land co, wholly owned by Canterbury City Council, working locally, employing locally, spending locally, and it's not for profiting. It has to be in the budget, and it delivers the services that Canterbury City Council asks for within that budget. So thank you, Craig. Thank you to all of you who supported Craig tonight. We're listening to you. It's good to talk to you outside, and your points have been noted and heard. Thank you.